Hello, I'm Judi Vitale from ReadTheStars.com, and let's talk about your week at work for the week of June 13th to 19th, 2011. Well, I'm talking to you at the time of the Saturn station. This is Sunday night, June 12th, by the way, and we talked a little bit last week about the Saturn station and how it was going to allow us to go back to what we were starting in January and really see it move forward at this point in time. And that's very true. We're going to have to put a lot of hard work in now and, really do things right. From January till now, sort of like we were working on stuff, but nobody was really watching. Now is the time when you really want to bring things out and do them right. Don't take any shortcuts. Don't kind of try to be skimpy about what you put into a project or into something, especially if it's very personal to you. Put your very heart and soul into it, because Saturn will be behind you, pushing you, and helping you to do your very, very best. But you will have to discipline yourself, and Saturn can give you that discipline. If you're not being very disciplined, on the other hand, and Saturn goes into direct motion after going backwards for all of this time, when that happens, something will happen in the outside world to cause you to have a little bit more discipline. So keep a close eye on those daily horoscopes. There will be some articles, up all this week about the various things that are happening. This is only one of the things that we're dealing with this week. It's big, but it isn't quite as big as what's happening on Wednesday. On Wednesday, June 15th at 4:14 p.m., let me verify, 4:14 p.m., Wednesday, June 15th, we are going to have an eclipse of the moon. And again, when you have an eclipse, what happens is that one of the luminaries, either the sun or the moon, gets blocked. This is the moon. The sun and the earth are going to pass in such a way that we will be unable to see the moon while in certain parts of the world for a period of time. It's a total eclipse of the moon. It is a rather rare one. The last one we had was in 2000, and the next one that we're going to have is in about another 7 or 8 years. So it is a big deal. It is a big full moon. There are things that are going to be revealed, and people who are kind of like hanging on the edge. I mean, to just look at the celebrities, for example, we talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is very close to some items in his astrological makeup. So, in his chart, for instance, I believe it's the midheaven and the IC are right at that 24 degrees of mutable. Okay, the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So if you have something around those degrees, you have to watch out. 24 would be somebody with a birthday right around the 15th of the month. Okay? So if you have a birthday like June 15th, September 15th, December 15th, or March 15th, this is going to be, a pretty big deal for you. You have to understand that eclipses come into our lives for certain reasons. And change is something that eclipses often bring. No, most of us don't like to have change unless we're like in a really bad situation and we want to see the tides turn. But for the most part, we want to see things go along so that they're nice and easy. Eclipses don't give us that. Eclipses give us things in our lives that happen that we must deal with. So it's a good thing that Saturn will be going direct, and you'll have the discipline and the ability to see things. I mean, Saturn is in Libra. It'll give you some ability to see, both sides of things really well. So at work, you're really going to want to look at how you can see both sides of a situation. So if something seems to happen to you, you see what part you played in it. And it's not about punishing yourself. It's about learning lessons and accepting consequences and moving forward. Always moving forward. That's the one gift that change does give to us. There are going to be some changes, I'm afraid, that are not going to be so great. One of the things that I'm quite concerned about is the monetary system. There's so much going on now with the Jupiter-Neptune sextile that we had last week. Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter a good halfway through its the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that was in 2000. There's just a lot going on around the monetary system, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist or even an astrologer to figure that out. All you have to do is turn on the news, and you hear all the different stories about what's going on. all I can say is to try to protect what you have as best you can. But the best way to protect what you have is to understand what's really important, and that's the non-material in your life. It's the relationships you have, the family members that you love, the people that you love, your friendships. Those things are what are really important. So focus on them right now. And then, if something does happen and, everybody winds up being poor, we'll all be poor together, and there will be that spirit of love among those of us who are aware enough to have it. There could be some rather violent occurrences around this eclipse. It's not a very happy area of the zodiac where it's occurring. There are a lot of disruptive factors in there. And so one does have to be careful. And there's also a very special kind of astrology that I practice called, they call it symmetrical astrology these days, but they've called it Uranian astrology. Some people call it cosmobiology, and it kind of is and kind of isn't. But that's not important. What's important to tell you is that Pluto is involved in this eclipse because of the symmetry of the way that they are in the sky, the eclipse and the planet Pluto. And Pluto can be very powerful influence, and it's in, also going to be working it with the moon and Saturn. Now, Wednesday's the day of the eclipse, but I think Thursday is going to be the day that people really feel it. And I say that because the moon is so very active. It'll be making a nice aspect to Neptune and a nice aspect to Jupiter. So everybody's going to go, oh, how nice, how wonderful. But in reality, it's going to be making nasty aspects with Uranus and Pluto and Saturn. So it's going to bring out all of this stuff where, everybody's kind of lifting the curtain and saying, you know what, all really is not totally right with the world, and we're going to have to deal with it. So Thursday, I think, is going to be a little bit shaky. At the same time, Mercury is going to move from nice, intellectual, detached Gemini into Cancer. People are going to feel it. Also gives me the idea that something with food is going to come up again. Cancer is all about, feeding ourselves and feeding others, and it's about our emotions also. But, Mercury going into Cancer is going to make people very emotional. So, there could be something that people discover about food. There could be a poisoning kind of thing, an E. coli kind of spreading or something like that. I don't know exactly what, but, there are a lot of things that we need to watch out for right now. So, as I say, it's just best to keep on good terms with yourself, even those people at work that you don't like. So, moving on to the rest of the week, we have a nice Capricorn moon for Friday and Saturday most of the time. And then on Sunday, the moon will go into Aquarius, and we'll have a little bit more calm. Some people will feel a little bit more structured, and those who work in creative things or things that have to do with cosmetics or fashion or style, that sort of stuff will all work out. So that's the week ahead. Yes, it's going to be kind of interesting. I'm also going to be traveling this week, so if it makes you feel any better, I'm going to get in a car on the day of the eclipse and drive from where I live to New York City to go see some old friends and to go see a lecture next Saturday. So I just want to tell you that because I don't want you all to batten down the hatches and not do anything or go anywhere. I think that it's important that we learn that there are things to deal with, but we don't have to, be so frightened of them that we hide under the bed. Okay, so again, I'm Judi Vitale with ReadTheStars.com. Please keep up with your daily horoscopes at ReadTheStars.com. Under Horoscopes, under Daily Horoscopes, you got them, okay? You can also get our articles and videos sent to you by subscribing to our feed too, so try that out. And if you have any questions, you can send them to me at Judi, Judi, at ReadTheStars.com.